The Kick-Off Breakfast Show.
Welcome back to the Kick-Off Sports Breakfast Show on Beach FM 106.3, and let's talk rugby now, and let's welcome back to the show our good friend from the Horowhenua Kapiti Rugby Union. It's Cameron Prouting. G'day, Cam.
G'day, Damien. How are you going?
I'm good, mate. We're finally here, finally level 2. How does level 2 look like for you guys?
Yeah, so NZ Rugby and Sport New Zealand have launched this 3-phase type, integration back into rugby. So we're currently in phase 1, which is like a prepare to train. So what that's about is getting the clubs set up so that they can open their club rooms, they can open their changing rooms, and they can train. So there's no trainings happening during this phase 1, but yeah, it's just about getting all those hygiene measures and those protocols right, so that when the clubs do go back to training, which is in phase 2, all those measures are in place. So then we move to phase 2, which is we're probably looking at a 25th of May if all goes well. For that phase 2 prepare to play. So that's your pre-season trainings, and then I think we'll look at pre-season matches towards the end of that phase 2, and all going well, we'll get to phase 3, which is the play, and can possibly start the competition from 20th of June.
Wow, well, that's exciting, because just having a date on it excites me, mate. Tell me, right, phase 1's going to come down to all of us doing the little things, and I know you aren't going around policing it all, so have the RDOs taken on more responsibility? Have they got their little subcommittees helping them out?
Yeah, so they do, and one of the things is that for our clubs to get back to be training, to open their club rooms and their changing rooms, they're going to have a set of requirements that they need to be able to meet, and so we're going to be working with each club around what that looks like for them, what measures they're going to have in place, and then we'll be able to sign off for each club and just work with them around ensuring that the best measures are in place, which are also practical and they can manage. Like we know our volunteers, team managers, they've got a lot on their plate at times. So adding stuff like contact tracing and just working out who's there and getting those codes and whatnot. It is a big job. So we want to make sure that everything's in place so that it's as seamless as possible. It's just another thing. Like, I guess it just sort of links back into that health and safety, which came out a few years ago. Everyone thought that it was going to be this massive change, but really it's just a few tweaks. Like it might be at a changing room, having hand sanitizer at entry and exit points, limiting the entry and exit points, so you've only got 1 or 2, and just little things like that to just make sure that they're adhering.
Awesome. Well, let's be honest. Level 1 is probably phase 1. Is probably going to be a lot of henimals and grids and bank sprints, isn't it, to get everyone back out there?
Yeah, I guess so. Like there's no organised rugby training or activity during this phase, but guys doing their own work. People still going out for runs and they're still doing a bit of work to get out there, but it's just around that organised, that group training.
Yep.
The 10 people max, that sort of stuff. So yeah, it is still tough for clubs, but look, everyone's in the same boat nationwide as well. This isn't just our union saying, hey, we've got to do this, and our players leave and play somewhere else. This is nationwide. So I guess Sport New Zealand and NZ Rugby, want the environments of our clubs and our schools to be as safe as possible for our players and our stakeholders.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Well, it's exciting time. So this week, obviously, the announcement of Level 2 has the confirmation of Super Aotearoa. Mate, how exciting is it going to be to see 2 local derbies every week?
Yes, it's pretty exciting, really. Like, I think I've said a couple of times on the show already about how they're the only sort of super games that I watch, and each week I think I heard Warren Gatland say it, that pretty much each week is an All Blacks trial, and each game, you've got the absolute cream of the crop in New Zealand rugby going head to head every week. I think those players playing against the best opposition definitely enhances them and their aspirations for the All Blacks. But yeah, it is really exciting. Bit of a shame that there's going to be no crowds, because I'm sure there'd be a few sellouts. But that's just sort of what we've got to compromise to ensure that those games go ahead.
Absolutely. Hey, and lastly, mate, in a perfect world, I know we might not have Heartland Championship this year, and I say might because I like to think I'm a pretty positive person. How good would it if they were to have a central Viking-esque team from each Heartland region and add to that pool of teams that would be in the Mitre 10?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, and that could definitely be an idea. But something we're looking at the moment, and I'm sure all Heartland unions are still looking to have a team and play some sort of footy. So at the moment, Wanganui, us and Wairarapa Bush play for the Bruce Steele Cup, and so we're just working with them around how we can maybe get a 3-team comp that goes over a couple of weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, just to get some sort of Heartland footy in there. So we're just sort of in the early stages around that. Look, it's all got to be self-funded because of it's not NZR's competition. So there's a lot of hurdles to jump over. But look, we're confident of still getting some rep footy. But our club rugby is our priority, and our senior club rugby, that's up to our clubs to decide how that's going to look. So whether that's a 1-round shootout, 2 rounds, we play just June, July, August, or we go all the way up to October, how that looks is up to our clubs to work out what's best for them and what's going to ensure that their players can play and still get a viable season.
Great stuff, mate. Well, we've been celebrating 25 seasons of the Hurricanes. This week we're talking to the Locks. I managed to get current Lock James Blackwell and the only Centurion Jeremy Thrush this week. Who should the flankers be next week, my man?
Oh, good question. Like to see Artie in there as a current player, either Artie or Duplessis. And then I think in terms of other loosies, you've got Rodney Sorialo. He's a big fish for me. And it's hard to think. There's been so many good ones off the top of my head. But look, you've done well in getting those past players lately. Yeah, look, I'm sure whoever you get will be bloody good.
Well, I'd love to confirm to you right now that Rodney Soalo is on the show next weekend.
Awesome, mate. Good work. Look forward to it.
I might even get my best mate who he kept on the bench for so long, Thomas Waldrum, as well.
I'm sure you'll have them on there.
Well,
Thomas
mate,
the Tank, eh?
Thomas the Tank, yeah. We've had a few gingers on this team, on this show, so we'll have a few more. Mate, I always appreciate your time, mate. Go well over the next week. Hopefully Level 2 looks a bit more clearer for us next week.
Awesome. Thanks, Damien.